Hello friends, welcome to this lecture, the Elixir Sulfonilamide incidents in the 1930s, which led to the Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act later on. So this is a very interesting event, and it's sad, but we learn our lessons. So let's get into it, exactly what happened, right? So the first newspaper cutout, it says that US was racing to save the lives of 700 people from Elixir. It's amazing that we have a newspaper cutout from 1930s. Just imagine people who read this newspaper article, what they were thinking. It was a completely different world back then, wasn't it? Anyway, interesting. And then the second picture is the culprit, which is the Elixir Sulfonilamide, and it was raspberry flavored. So one might say it was raspberry flavored death. So let's look at the timeline of this incident. What happened, right? So if you look at the slide, in 1937 there was an increased demand for elixir in liquid form, and it was hard to dissolve, and this brilliant chemist in this company figured out that sulfonamide dissolves in diethylene glycol, that is the commonly used antifreeze. You might be familiar with it. So they compacted the compound, and the company did some testing. They tested for texture, presentation, aroma, everything, but not the most important thing, which is toxicology. At the time, toxicology testing was not required, and who would have thought this commonly used antifreeze will have any toxic effect, right? Well, events will unfold later on to show otherwise. But anyway, so 633 bottles were sent all around America, United States, and then immediately the American Medical Association received reports of death, and on further investigation they found out that it is the solvent, which is diethylene glycol or antifreeze, is the culprit. And what did they do? They immediately worked with the FDA to send inspectors to the company and worked with the company to recall the drug. But you might imagine, in 1930s transportation was not very good, and telecommunication was not very good, so it was really hard to recall this drug. In fact, there's a story about a doctor who cancelled his own wedding to save the life of a child who has gone to the mountains after being prescribed the drug. So he cancelled his wedding to save the life of the child. So people do actually care, but despite best efforts, around 100 people died, and most of them were children. So it was really sad. There was a huge public outcry, and as a response to this outcry, the United States government came up with a legal act, which is the Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act. So let's look at what the act is. So this was a sad incident, but we learnt our lesson as a people. So the Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act, it stated that the manufacturer has to show safety of the drug before marketing it, before giving it to the people. This is very important. I mean, despite how sad the incident is, this central guideline came through this incident. So this was a win for the pharmaceutical industry and clinical research industry and for humanity, because we had a guideline now to stick to, and we understood through our bones why it's important through this incident. So it was sad, and may the souls who were affected by this incident rest in peace. But life moves on, and then we have this guideline now. So hope you enjoyed that lecture, and hope to see you in the next lecture. Ciao.